Hello and welcome. I'm Ed Brady, the President and CEO of the Home Builders Institute. And we're here today with Eugene Graf to talk about workforce development, the labor shortage going on throughout the country in the skilled trades, and the Home Builders Institute and what it's all about. So we're happy to have our chairman of our board, longtime advocate of NAHB and HBI, to talk about and educate our members at the National Association of Home Builders where and what HBI is and what we do, and hopefully to get you engaged. And so it's great to be here with Eugene, and I'm going to give you a little bit of information about what we do and then get into some questions for Eugene. HBI has five main pillars. Job Corps, which you've heard about probably in our advocacy at NAHB, is our foundation. We've been in that program for 52, 53 years, U.S. Department of Labor contract. We have our community programs, community and corrections programs, where we're in prisons, behind the wall, outside the wall, probation, juvenile justice programs. We have our transitioning military program funded by the Home Depot Foundation on 10 military bases that we train transitioning out military veterans, spouses of military active members, and we certify and place them in the industry. And then our fourth and fifth pillar are really important in the scale of being able to help populate this workforce, and that is the schools, our Future Builders of America program that supports our license program throughout the country, where we license our curriculum, we train instructors, we certify the students at graduation, and we provide them the ability to train our students in our schools, and then our academies, our Build Strong academies, and we're in 6 different locations from Sacramento to San Juan, Puerto Rico, and in between is Phoenix, New Orleans, Orlando, Charlotte, and that is a big box, if you will, academy that brings in everybody. We train about 150 students a year, certify them after 9 weeks, and place them in a job. Our job at HBI, for those that we're serving in the training, is to place them in the industry, to place them in a job, in a career path for their upward mobility and for the industry to strive. But so, Eugene, it's great to have you. Great to have your friendship to HBI, your friendship and your long-term advocacy to NAHB and the Home Builders Institute. So I'm going to just ask you a number of questions. We're going to rattle off some questions. We're going to tell a little bit about yourself and your involvement with NHB over the years and HBI.
Yeah, thanks, Ed. It's always good to spend time with you and everybody at NHB. We've gotten to know each other, over the last 25 years, seeing each other 3 or 4 times a year, and we're really good at what we do. NHB has been the pinnacle of policy and information distribution to members and members of Congress, and it's interesting now that when everybody and across all media, all demographics are talking about housing affordability, NHB can say, yeah, we've been working on this for 78 years or whatever it is now.
Yeah.
Similarly with HBI, everybody's talking about the shortage of skilled labor, and we need to promote trades education. And we can say, yeah, we know we've been doing that, and we've been doing it very successfully. Particularly, we've been the leader in it for 50 years. And so when you hear new companies have initiatives to put money into it, we want them to know that we're the leader. We can distribute that in a very successful way.
Yeah. And your history as a builder, you and I at dinner last night talking about your dad and your grandfather and all that. You've been a builder for many, many years,
Yeah.
and so therefore advocating for the association. You were Build Back chairman when I was chairman. So, and your leadership at HBI has been instrumental in directing and changing. But tell us a little bit about set the stage as to what is the challenge with the skilled labor in the U.S.
Well, we supported a study that came out of University of Denver, I believe, that was pointed at identifying what are the challenges, what is the impact to the shortage of skilled trades. And the study came back that it's almost $11 billion in economic development. It takes houses 10 months longer. We are 700,000 plus employees short in the industry every year. And so it really identified what the issues are. And so we've been able to then pinpoint how can we solve some of those issues.
Yeah, it really tracks it to affordability and accessibility,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
Because of the shortage of housing raises the price.
Yeah.
And we've built, I think the study came out and said we built almost 20,000 less homes because of the labor shortage. And as you said, the cycle time adds another $2,500 a home because time is money, the carry cost. And so, as you say, $11 billion. And I read something, Wall Street Journal yesterday said that we need 350,000 new skilled trades this year alone.
Yeah.
To replace what is an aging population. Average plumber's 58 years old. We're bringing 2 in for every 5 that retire. So it's at crisis levels.
Yeah, it's not something that can be fixed overnight. We always want to have a silver bullet that you do this and your problems are gone. But to be realistic, for a generation, we've been encouraging kids to go to 4-year colleges.
Right.
And
almost forcing.
It's the only way to be successful in America. You have to excel in these ways. And recently, the last decade, it's come to light that, and you've always said it, your tradesmen, your subcontractors are the ones that have boats that are going to the lake, having fun on the weekends while you're investing whatever you can into future projects.
Yeah.
And so I think we're realizing that our trades, people going through being a tradesman can be a successful career and build a life for their family.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And I think you mentioned just AI technology, maybe 4-year college is not necessarily entry-level jobs. AI is going to maybe take some of those entry-level jobs away, where I'm not sure AI is going to fix your roof or your plumbing leak at 2:00 in the morning, right? So these are sustainable jobs. And I do think we're adding the perception of this career path. HBI and NAHB are being thought leaders this is a real good career path. You can be an entrepreneur. You can own your own business. So I think that awareness is coming around, but because of your work, HBI's work, and all that we're doing, changing that influencer perception of this industry is important, meaning parents, peers, school superintendents, legislators, that this career path is sustainable, it's a long-term, and it's a good paying career path. So I think we trained about 22,000 students last year at HBI. Tell us a little bit about what do you think NAHB members' perception is, if they have a perception of HBI, or what do they know about HBI? Your mission, I know this year as chairman and last year, is to educate our members as to the value that you have in our house at NAHB of HBI. Could articulate that a little bit.
Well, we sort of have several levels of, in my perception, NAHB membership. We have the board that comes together several times a year, and they've been inundated with information on our effort with our federal government affairs team to support what we're doing at Job Corps. And that's been a big legislative effort.
Yeah.
But we also do a lot of other programming, and some of that programming is probably even better well known back at the locals. We're in high schools, we're in other facilities. We do a lot of programming that we don't talk about because it's not a legislative effort at NAHB. So I want to make sure that all of our NAHB members know what's available, what they can support, what they can promote, and hopefully have a pool to hire from.
Yeah. So those pillars, as we talk about, Job Corps, foundational to HBI. We've been in Job Corps for 53 years almost, the Department of Labor program. But we then have community programs that justice involved, youth build programs that we operate, sometimes support. We have our transitioning military veteran program, the Home Depot Foundation fully funds, which we're very thankful for, on 10 military bases throughout the country. And then we have our academies and our schools. You mentioned schools. Our schools were in 450 different school locations throughout the country. And so the question is, as we look at those 5 pillars, and then what I say is a soft 6th pillar is that industry thought leadership, that we're trying to change this perception of the industry. We're trying to make people more aware of the value of this career path, and not necessarily a pillar, but a mission as the institute we are to educate people, and what you're doing here. So tell us how you think people, living in Bozeman, Montana, living in Bloomington, Illinois, throughout the country, how do you think people could get involved at a local parochial level?
Yeah, I think, willingness to engage with school boards. I know our state and local government affairs team and the people we have at HBI can engage with that to make sure that we can participate. But getting involved, whether it's a local association or your own company, sponsoring the program at the local high school, inviting those classes to your job site so people can see what that career, what that job looks like day to day.
Yep. Yep.
There's a lot of ways to support students, but we also want to promote that it's a good career path. So
Yeah.
I think we're going to want to try to get more engaged on a personal level, whether it's the association or individual companies.
Because you and I travel all over the country, and you hear, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. And sometimes I want to help. How do I, I've got a shortage. I can't find carpenters. I can't find plumbers. And it seems that there's a huge desire. HBI's got to make it easy to get involved. And that's one of the probably the easiest, as you just suggested, is, go talk to a school, go talk to your CTE instructors, go talk to your superintendents. And the industry has to support these programs at a local level. NAHB, HBI, DC, Washington, D.C. is not going to make an impact in order to get that in. And so you've done it at your local level. I've done it at mine. And I think getting people involved at that local level ultimately is the way we build this grassroots organization. So as chairman, I've been chairman for 15 months now of HBI. Why is it important to you individually? Why is it important to you as a company? And how meaningful is it, the work that you're doing? Our success stories. You've talked to so many of our students. We serve an underserved population. Many don't have the opportunities that I had as a son of a father, a father that was in the industry. You have a lineage in your family. Many of our students don't have any of that.
Right.
And so give me a little bit of impact on your life and why you're involved.
Well, if you're in the building industry, you've seen struggles where you have a shortage in any trade, and you want to, you either have to go find that tradesman and support them. A lot of times there's entrepreneurial spirit in some of the employees of your tradesmen, and they want to start their own. And I'm sure every one of us have supported somebody starting their own business, and that's a captive audience. You support them. Well, in the same way, students coming out of an HBI program, we've already engaged them. They want to be in this. And so it's a lot easier to hire somebody that wants to be in it than force somebody that doesn't know if they want to be in it. And so the gap of,
Right.
accepting this career path is already eliminated.
Right. That's a huge factor. They're volunteering to go into the training at least. And I don't know if we've said it before, we'll say it many times, but we have no tuition. It's a cost-free to the students. Which brings us to how are we funded?
Yeah.
And, we I talk about this daily about where is our funding coming from. And certainly it's a combination of government funding, independent funding, charitable funding, NHB member funding, NHB funding. I mean, you name it, we're philanthropic funding from different foundations and so forth. But A big part of that is the industry itself, suppliers, merchandisers, and tell us about your work and HBI's work in going after those kind of money to support. You've said it many times. This isn't going to take care of itself, and we have to help ourselves as an industry. And many people have stepped up.
Well, we sustained ourselves for many decades on a large government contract that you said, and we recently realized that we wanted to do more, and we couldn't do that through that contract alone. And so we started to go out talking to industry partners. You mentioned Home Depot Foundation. They have been so generous, not just with the military programs, but it's almost any time we have an idea, they step up to the plate.
Yeah.
And it's just incredible when we wanted to grow programs. We wanted to go into academies, go into the high schools, go into corrections, and be more we didn't want to have a linear line of funding. We wanted to have a more sustainable, diverse line. And so we've started to identify certainly some large corporations that already have that in their mission.
Yeah.
And so now we're starting to talk to other people that are interested, but it's a learning curve. Philanthropic donations take a long time, and you have to bring them along and show them some examples of what it means. And anytime we've been on a facility, it's life-changing. You can see the desire in these students' eyes that they want to do well in their life.
Yeah.
And every time, if you have time to be on at a graduation or see it in person, one of the students is going to come over and tell you their dreams. And it's not unlike any of the trades on your job, but they're new. It's shiny. It's like you can see
excitement. Yeah.
You can see their future in their eyes.
Yeah.
And you just want to support that. And hopefully we can get the right people in the room to support that. So more students have that opportunity.
It's motivating. I mean, I know I see it in all of our board when we go to site visits, and we do encourage people to go talk to their school classes, peer, it's great to hear from the peers. It's great for young people to see you pull up in a nice Ford 150 or a nice car or whatever the case may be. Talk about your toys and boats and understand the dream, as you said, the dream that they have. You mentioned Home Depot, Mytech, Stanley Black and Decker. So many companies. We have our impact report that we just posted on social media. You can see all of our sponsors, and it's growing because there is so many people that there's two missions. The mission is to help the industry. We have to provide housing in this country, and in order to do it, we need to train skilled labor. We need to have good skilled labor, and so that's one, but it's really just to help these foundations, to help individuals with upward mobility and making their dreams come true, to own a home someday and to own their own business. And so I know I've seen it in your eyes when you do it. We encourage people to go to sites, and we'll tell you at the end of this where you can find out more information. But tell me what your message is to that member out there that's listening to this as to what you think is important and why you think it's important for them to understand what we're doing.
Yeah, we are at the tip of the spear on curriculum development and delivery mechanisms. And every local association wants to participate in supporting their youth, their students, people entering the industry. And I want to make sure that everybody knows that we have those tools. We want to utilize our tools in every locality. So the student coming out has a consistent skill set that we can depend on. So they can travel anywhere in the country, and we know that if they've gone through our program, we know that they are capable of performing the task that we're hiring them for.
I think you call out going around and looking at don't have to reinvent this, right? You've said it. We've got the tools. We've got a great partner in Careers in Construction Colorado as an example. They have taken it on by themselves they're in 92 schools with our curriculum, supported by HBI and supported by the PAC curriculum, which we've designed through the members of NAHB in the industry. And so there are so many good examples that you can use to build your program at a local level. And that's just one of them. We support 50 some youth builds with our curriculum. So there's many ways. And I think the one thing we want to leave with these members is specifically, where would you say the best way to get involved is? Well, how can you start as a member in Tuscaloosa, Florida? How could you get involved?
So there's a couple. Getting involved can be daunting. It's scary. There's a lot of hoops that you might have to go through. Like I said earlier, our partners with the state and local government affairs, our staff, many times they've already gone through those loops with the school boards and the state level. However, our programs have to be accepted. A lot of times we've done that, or we have the process to do that, and we can help you there. So you never want to reinvent the wheel, because it takes a lot of effort, and it takes some of the wind out of the sails when you really just want to get to the student and help immediately.
Yeah.
And so I'd say, ask if we have a program in your area that you can go see.
We can get you on that website.
Or ask for our curriculum. How can we deliver it in your way? Sometimes there might be a sponsorship opportunity to eliminate the cost to the school system or the board, so we can maintain that free to student mentality.
And we have so many HBAs throughout the country, home builders associations throughout the country, that are supportive of our Build Strong academies in Orlando and in Phoenix and in Sacramento or in Charlotte. And those larger home builder associations are very supportive, helping fund, not only helping fund, but are pushing their members to hire our students, to bring them into the industry. As you said, and I mentioned Careers in Construction Colorado, we've got a great group in Tennessee. We got a great group in Florida with our Future Builders of America program. There's just so many opportunities. So I'm gonna finish here with, you can find out more information on hbi.org, hbi.org. We have a map, interactive map of all of our programs throughout the country. Many of them, as I said, 450 are licensed programs that we support through our learning management system and our instructor certification and our certifications. And then we operate over 200 programs with 200 instructors throughout the country. About half of those are in our Job Corps in 42 different states, and then programs at the academies and programs in prisons and juvenile justice programs or transitioning military programs. So as Eugene said, it may be daunting, but it is not as hard as you might think to get involved at a low level, or accelerate that to a operated program within your community, or within your state. We can help you try and find funding through legislative process, through grant funding. There's many ways to get involved, but don't not get involved because you think it's too hard. We'll make it as easy as we can. So Eugene, thanks for being here, flying in, and I know we had a number of different things to do, but this was one of them, important ones, and we'll continue this dialogue with NAHB members. Jim Tobin and his team has been hugely valuable in allowing us the exposure to NAHB members, and you're being involved in a known entity has helped raise that awareness. We'll continue to do that, and so I really thank you for being here.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everybody knows it's not a fix over the overnight situation that we're in, and if you have 6 kids that graduate a program, that's successful. It can be 6, it can be 10, it can be whatever number, but the focus of just exposing students to the industry is, I think, our biggest challenge right now, and getting there. When there's an interest, we'll find the funding for it.
Thanks for being here.
You bet.
All right. Thank you.